Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, hours after Seadrift's mayor resigns, a new complaint surfaces about city assets. The allegations involving an alderman and a police dog.
Nearly 3 decades later, a Calhoun County case still remains unsolved.
Plus 20 years after Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, how signs of recovery are now everywhere.
Well, it's football Friday night. Lots of folks headed out to the stadium. So far, so good for us in Victoria. However, there are some showers up toward the Wharton area. We'll take a closer look at that and talk about the frontal system for the weekend coming up in a moment.
And with the weather looking nice, and guess what, maybe getting a little bit cooler outside, it's time for football season around here in the Crossroads. We'll get you ready for tonight's action later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Don Brubaker.
It has been nearly 3 decades with no closure to a Calhoun County homicide case. In 1996, 50-year-old Kenneth Ray Tenberg was found dead in his pickup truck. At first, troopers thought it was just a crash, but investigators later discovered the wreck was staged and Tenberg had been murdered. He was last seen alive at Pure Country Bar the night before. If you know anything, call Calhoun County Crime Stoppers. Tips are anonymous. Just hours after the resignation of Mayor Lori Thompson, a Seadrift resident files a formal complaint claiming improper use of city assets. The complaint specifically mentions Alderman Paul Gonzalez and his handling of a canine unit named Roscoe. Gonzalez said during a city council meeting in 2024 that Officer Roscoe would be medically retired because of joint issues. In the July 9th meeting minutes, Gonzalez says, quote, "A forever home has been found for him so that he can enjoy the rest of his life being a couch potato." A little over 2 months later, though, the city of Rockport posted a resolution accepting Officer Roscoe as an official Rockport canine unit, despite earlier reports from Seadrift of Roscoe's medical retirement. We have reached out to both Seadrift and Rockport for statements, and we are waiting to hear back. Well, today marks the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, the tragedy that killed almost 1,400 people.
Yes, Gustavo Valdez spoke with workers who helped bring New Orleans back to life in the years since.
20 years after Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, you can see signs of the new life in the city. These houses are an example of the recovery in the lower Ninth Ward, one of the city's most affected areas. Angelica Rivera is one of the many workers who helped bring it back to life. Is the New Orleans you see today the same New Orleans you came to?
No, not at all.
With small children, one barely a few months old, she moved from Orlando after the storm, following her husband, a handyman who saw an opportunity working in construction.
I'm not gonna lie, I cried a couple times because I was like, I don't want to be here.
Because basic services like drinking water and electricity were slow to return. But they didn't give up, growing their business from a small team only doing house framing to a full-service construction company, helping many homeowners who they say were swindled by contractors who took their money and left town.
So a lot of people were without money and without a house.
Their growth was fueled by thousands of workers who came from across the country and outside the U.S. to work in construction.
Because most of the people that was here was Latinos.
Who worked in difficult conditions, battling the intense heat and humidity to rebuild this iconic American city. Their efforts are celebrated in this sculpture in the infamous Ninth Ward, ground zero of the deadly floods.
I really believe that they were key in trying to get the New Orleans area back.
Dr. Juan Hershanik commissioned the sculpture after speaking with children of those workers, who he says were shy about their parents' profession. He wanted them to be proud of the work their parents did.
Undoubtedly, that was my first goal.
High praise coming from a person considered one of the heroes of the post-Katrina tragedy, evacuating premature babies out of the hospital, manually blowing oxygen to one of them for hours, accolades he'd rather be given to others.
The understanding of how much the contribution of the Latinos was made during the post-Katrina recovery times.
Many of those came thinking their stay in the Big Easy would be temporary. but now they call it home. According to the U.S. Census, the Hispanic population of metropolitan New Orleans has doubled in the past 20 years. The number of Black and white residents has decreased.
Someone say that if you drink water from the Mississippi River, you stay in New Orleans and you will never leave. I think I did that because this is our home now.
Gustavo Valdez, CNN, New Orleans.
20 years later, a Victoria restaurant owner reflects how he was able to feed and show love to those escaping the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina. Ricky Mumford, co-owner of Mumford's Place Barbecue, fed a total of 150 people who fled the New Orleans area and wound up in Victoria for 2.5 months. For his efforts, officials from the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana presented proclamations of thanks. Mumford says the real reward was helping people that really needed it.
You know, that they lost everything. That was one of the main, that's, you know, it really hurt you to hear. But we bought them, I bought them here for a Christmas, bought a few here for a Christmas party. I took some on a catering and put some money in their pocket. We did some of them came to our church. They visited us at church there. And one guy came back and made some gumbo for us. And it was good.
Mumford says the opportunity to help people in a time of need is the greatest reward. He says he would gladly do it again if need be.
Hurricanes are on our minds today, but so is the weather for high school football tonight.
Yes, a lot of people about to head out to the stadium. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez to see what we can expect out at the stadiums throughout the Crossroads. There's so many games going on tonight. We have a whole team out there.
Oh, yeah.
There are stadiums that are filling at this very moment across the Crossroads. We do have a little bit of shower activity to the north. Now let's take a closer look at it. Here we are in the city. No major problems here. But we do have a shower just south of the Wharton, right about there. They are decreasing in intensity. These are a little bit heavier along the I-10 corridor, so probably Hallettsville is going to see some thunder activity. So there are a few rain showers out there. I don't know, I think I would enjoy getting wet right now in 98-degree temperatures. We'll be looking at that activity to decrease. We'll talk about the front for the weekend, all that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. A 1-year-old San Antonio area girl was reportedly found dead in a hot car Thursday. Shavetta and Aaron Combs, both 27 years old, told Bexar County deputies that they took their baby with them to pick up their other children from school, but forgot her in the car once they returned home. The toddler was reportedly left in the car for over 2 hours. Her parents realized they left her in the vehicle after their other child started looking for her. The two parents are charged with injury to a child causing serious bodily injury or death. Governor Greg Abbott signed the new Texas congressional map designed to give the GOP 5 more seats. The map passed the legislature last week and aims to flip 5 Democratic seats in the 2026 midterms. The battle now will go to the courts, where groups representing Black and Latino voters filed lawsuits asking that the maps be blocked from going into effect. A 3-judge panel that is already considering challenges to Texas 2021 maps set a hearing for early October. The Texas House advanced a bill to put stricter penalties on camps following the Hill Country flood. House Bill 256 would prevent camps from correcting violations on the spot to avoid state penalties and reduce the number of camps serving on a state panel. The bill passed the House by a vote of 128 to 3. This bill would remove a camp's ability to correct violations during the inspection process. It would also reduce the number of camp operators in the committee from a maximum of 7 members to 2. Several groups are suing to block Texas' DEI ban on K-12 public schools. The suit charges the new state law unconstitutionally silences the viewpoints of students and teachers. The law's supporters say DEI programs use public funds to promote political agendas. The American Civil Liberties Union of Texas and a group of LGBTQ+ and student rights organizations are suing in federal court. Governor Abbott signed the legislation last June, and it will go into effect Monday, September 1st. The Texas Lottery gets a second chance under new management. After months of controversy, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation must tackle poor sales and legislative scrutiny as it takes over the games on Labor Day, September 1st. On that day, the 32-year-old Texas Lottery Commission will be abolished, ending the agency designed to run one of the few legal forms of gambling in Texas, the state-run lottery operation. Under a new state law, TDLR will take over running the $8 billion operation.
Yorktown Memorial Hospital is still accessible, even though it's been declared unsafe by city officials. You can read this full article by coming to crossroadstoday.com. Texas A&M University Victoria is celebrating Jag Fest, and you're invited. The event is Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. at De Leon Plaza. The community can enjoy live music, food, and fun with a performance by the Stout Brothers. Remarks from Texas A&M University System leadership begin at 7 o'clock. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, the Director of National Intelligence made a high-profile personnel move after President Trump met with Putin.
Also ahead, what you can expect if you're headed out of town this Labor Day weekend.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard ousted a CIA Russia expert shortly after President Trump met with Vladimir Putin in Alaska. Sources say the expert helped brief Trump's team leading up to the meeting. Gabbard identified the officer last week. A source says the employee has been publicly affiliated with the CIA in the past, but she was undercover at the time Gabbard named her in an X post. A person close to Gabbard says the person was not undercover. They also say the decision to revoke her security clearance had nothing to do with her work on issues related to Russia.
As Democrats nationwide deal with gerrymandering and regroup at the DNC summer meeting, and Republicans look to capitalize on the 2024 gains they made among new and young voters, a new generation of candidates is working to reshape politics from the ground up.
Younger candidates are running reimagined campaigns, building them and connecting with voters in ways that are very different from before. Camila DeChalis is in Washington with more.
With Zohran Mamdani emerging as the frontrunner in the New York City's mayoral race, his primary win is really underscoring a national trend we're seeing, and that is young candidates are really rethinking how to run campaigns, and they're using social media and grassroots tactics to reach new voters, especially younger ones.
We need new blood in our political system from all backgrounds, all regions of the country.
All across the country, a new generation is stepping into politics. Young candidates are using social media and grassroots organizing to challenge the way government works at every level. Some are campaigning for local government and others for Congress. But no matter the position, they're turning to social media to reach new voters.
It's about meeting people where they are, and we're going to be doing that in the campaign, whether it's on social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Reels.
Using social media is a great way to have a voice without having to really have a platform yet.
Good, bro. Elections on Tuesday.
Last month, New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani turned social media momentum into a primary win. After he won the Democratic ticket, many people were inspired to run for office themselves. Run for Something, an organization that helps young progressives run for office, said nearly 10,000 people nationwide registered on their site expressing interest to run for office in the 2 weeks after he won.
There is such an appetite for generational change on both sides. Voters want it. We just saw that in New York. And new leaders want it.
Candidates say social media is a good start, but there's still a place for good old-fashioned grassroots tactics too.
A lot of folks see me and think that my main platform is online. In actuality, my main platform is at the community level. We've knocked on more than 5,000 doors for a mayor's race that is 2 years away.
And while social media helps amplify their messages, these young candidates really say that it's face-to-face conversations and community engagements that really help turn followers into voters. In Washington, I'm Camila DeShalis.
It's expected to be a busy Labor Day holiday weekend at the nation's airports. The Transportation Security Administration estimates more than 17 million people will pass through their checkpoints to board flights over the long weekend. Agency officials remind travelers to get to the airport with plenty of time before your flight. The TSA also says to check their website to refresh yourself on security rules and procedures. The Labor Day holiday travel period kicked off Thursday and runs through next Wednesday.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday night, football Friday night. The first big games starting off tonight. We're looking at a rather warm evening. It's 96 degrees, but once the sun goes down, should be a little bit more reasonable. Managed to get up to 98. 94 is our average, but we are looking for that frontal system to come in. Probably Sunday night, that will knock the temperature down cooler than that. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from the Victoria ISD. We learn about a benefit for victims of domestic violence, an exhibit at the Museum of the Coastal Bend, and we hear from Keep Victoria Beautiful.
It's called the Waste Wizard online tool, and it is specific for Victoria. So you can, put in there what you want to get rid of, and it will pop up what to do with it.
Well, lots of folks heading out to the stadiums tonight, and it's a big night across most of Texas. We've got the forecast for the Industrial Cobras versus the Edna Cowboys. That'll be in Edna, partly cloudy, very warm. We're looking at, 96 right about now. By about 7:30, it'll get down to 93 and then 84 by the end of the night. So not yet, the hot chocolate and the sweaters in the stands, but have a great night out there, and may your best team win. We are looking at some cloud deck that is to the north of us, triggered by the old frontal system. The frontal system is still sort of wandering around out there, but now it is finally going to start to move, but it won't be here until about Sunday. That's when we finally get a little bit of a northwest wind blowing through the area that'll help out with the temperature, but it also will give us some shower activity over the weekend. This is, let's see, here's front number one, front number two. This front number two is a doozy. Temperatures are going to be dropping dramatically throughout much of the east. for us, not just yet, but we're getting there as the front, this one, the weekend comes through, and then we'll wait for the next one. Now, at this hour of the evening, we've got Victoria right about here. We've got one little shower not far from Edna, and I know, no, Edna's here. Here's Wharton, so it's in between. But you can see how that activity is decreasing in intensity. A little bit heavier activity up here, headed toward maybe the Gonzales area, out toward Welder as well. So there are a few showers, but again, this is decreasing in intensity and shouldn't be a huge problem overnight. Certainly no lightning or anything like that. Now, tomorrow we have a garden variety chance of a shower or two, basically from our area northbound. However, on Sunday, it starts dropping down through our area. That's going to be the interesting one. And so Sunday, this is for Sunday, the excessive rain will be occurring here with the frontal system actually pushing down, and then eventually it'll get down to our area. So we expect that Sunday will be the peak of the rain activity on into Monday. Of course, across the Gulf, it is very quiet except for the storms with this frontal system. In terms of tropical activity, only the remnants of what used to be Fernand. And right about here, we have the new area of possible development, but that's about 5 to 7 days from now, and it's not a big chance for that to actually survive and make it through. Interesting that we are now here in the peak of the hurricane season, and things are very quiet on the Atlantic. In the Pacific, it is quite busy. Fortunately, those storms will move out to sea. So here's Future Tracker, and we go from Friday night into Saturday. Saturday morning is looking real quiet, real nice, sunny. And then in the afternoon, we'll start seeing a few little pop-ups. That's Saturday night. And then Sunday, well, Saturday night here, and then Sunday it gets real interesting when the frontal system starts to move and brings with it a line of showers. This will be on Sunday, and then you can see how that makes it through our area. We get a north wind out of it and slightly cooler temperatures. Don't pull the sweaters out just yet. All right, we're looking for 95 tomorrow, so a hot Saturday, and then 97 out in Cuero. But like I said, the peak of the rain will be Sunday night into Monday. Okay, so it'll take a while, and then our temperature only in the upper 80s for Monday, and that is Labor Day. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we've got a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on the phone, and we'll toss it over to Shauna.
All right, well, we're getting ready for a long weekend, but before we do that, let's send it over to Max Williams to see what's going on in sports.
Shauna, what's going on is about 4 hours from now, we got Crossroads Football Live first live show in about 4 hours. But after the break, to get everyone ready for, again, high school football season, we got our weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson talking about tonight's game of the week, and we'll have some top volleyball tournaments going on. All that coming up next. We have finally arrived at Football Friday nights here in South Texas. And again, tune in later. Like I mentioned, they're going into the break to Crossroads Football Live show at 10:35 p.m. Right after our 10 p.m. show, we'll have the best highlights, stats, and more later on. But getting you ready for our game of the week, though, between the Industrial Cobras and the Edna Cowboys out there at Edna. That game's going to start in a matter of just 30 minutes time. And 25 News Now weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson has all the pregame information for tonight's contest.
Max, I mean, what better way to kick things off with your week one than with the Lavaca River rivalry? I mean, we got two classic teams from our area battling it out in an old school rivalry, but this is a new chapter that we're going to witness tonight with new coaches and some new players on the field. But let's talk about Industrial for a sec, because they will be adapting a new offense into this system after having a little shaky last offseason. Both of these teams look to bounce back. But here's a word from a few players about the new offense.
Did a lot of good things considering that we're bringing on a whole nother scheme with a bunch of new players and new coaches, so I think we did really well today.
I think we adjusted well, and with our schemes that we've just put in this year with all new coaches, new coaching staff, everything, I think we just need to get better at them.
That's right, folks at the Crossroads. I mean, there's going to be a lot of key things to look out for here tonight ahead of this 7 p.m. kickoff for Industrial and Edna. But make sure you come back at 10 p.m. as we'll have the score, hopefully. And hopefully this won't go into a overtime situation like we had last year. But with these rivalry games, you never know what to expect. And coming up in our CFL show, we will also have highlights, and we'll also have a word from a few coaches. Reporting at Cowboy Memorial Stadium, Ray Robinson, KAVU, TV 25 News Now, Sports.
Ray, I mean, we hope we get a good thriller between those two teams. We'll see, though, there later on tonight when we get the highlights out. But we're going to take a break real quick from football, head back over to A&M Victoria, where tomorrow afternoon they have their home opener versus Oklahoma City, where, like I mentioned on Wednesday for my package, will be the last time they are going to be under the UHV name on their jerseys. And also in my conversations that I had with some of the players out there for A&M Victoria, I talked to goalkeeper Tyler Cable, and he highlights what the team needs to do to get the victory there tomorrow afternoon.
Keeper, that's always what you're shooting for. But I think the biggest thing for me is to have a good performance. I think having a good performance to start off the season is absolutely crucial. We got big games coming up in conference, so we just have to be ready from the get-go. So what I'm looking forward to most is us being locked in, us being focused, and us playing as a team.
Now, Capelli and the men's soccer team, they begin there at 3:30 p.m. there tomorrow afternoon, while the women's team will play first there at 1 p.m. be the last time they're under the UHV name. And finally, with some high school football kicking off tonight, we had some high school volleyball also going on with multiple tournaments. First, we had the St. Joseph Lady Flyers volleyball team proving out to 18-6 in the Goliad tournament, where we had Jordan Johnston yesterday had 22 kills there combined in all the games they played, and Maylee Montgomery had 17 there in total. Well, Victoria East, they're out in Needville right now for pool play, where they had stars Jade McIntosh have 8 assists and then 5 there again kills as well in the game, and Ellie Shin had 6 kills and 2 digs there as well. And they get both of these teams start bracket play going into tomorrow afternoon with Goliad and a lot of other teams going into this weekend. And that's going to do it here in sports. Actually, real quickly, we got a viewer poll that we're looking up here between Hayward High School football, and we're going to see what it's like here for both of the teams. Like, we got the excitement of the game, Friday night traditions, community there atmosphere, and then also supporting there some of the local players and teams. It looks like a majority of people are choosing, again, that Friday night traditions and the community atmosphere. So we'll have to see if anything kind of changes going into the results at 10 o'clock. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, Shauna, back to you.
And don't forget Crossroads Football Live tonight after 25 News Now at 10 for the very latest on the greatest Texas high school football. Hey, we're back in a moment. A police officer goes above and beyond the call of duty to help a stranded stranger. Disabled traveler stranded in Pittsburgh is now back home in Canada. The man told police he got off a bus to stretch his legs, and the bus left without him. He did not have any of his luggage or any money. Oh, and the man is deaf and does not speak English. Police arrived, including Officer Stephen Harris. He investigated and found the man was not being unruly. Officer Harris then bought a $113 train ticket for the stranded stranger for the Amtrak station just across the street.
Wow.
How about that, folks?
Wow.
That is going above and beyond the call of duty to help a stranded stranger. Yes, indeed. Okay, last check at the weather on a Friday night football night.
I think 99% of the people are going to have a wonderful evening. The sun is going down. The temperatures are going to start dropping. It's a little bit on the warm side out there, but all the rain that is to the northeast is decreasing. Tomorrow, hot, and then Sunday, showers begin late in the day as that frontal system actually drifts through. Looks like the most of the rain activity will be on Monday, and of course, that's Labor Day. Some of us will be laboring. Some of us will not be laboring.
And you know who you are.
That's right.
Thank you, Mac. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.